welcome to another video on the JayBee and Milly channel. Today we're going to be doing another one of our Scooby top 10s, and this one is going to be for our top 10 Scooby-Doo Where Are You episodes. So as always, it's going to be my top 5 and JayBee's. In the rare instance we agree on something, it will become perhaps slightly less than a top 10, but the goal is to try and get there. So with that in mind, I'm going to kick us off with my 5th place episode. So this in no way means I don't like the episode, just it's not up there as the top spot, but it still made it onto the top 5, and that is A Night of Fright Is No Delight. It's a great episode and I love what Scooby Natural took away from it, but ultimately for me, I feel like that's perhaps overdone it, if not outshone it in some ways as well, which kind of is what stops it from having that top place spot, but it's still a worthy mention.
Yeah, so I actually agree with that to an extent. It's not on my list, but I do like how it's expanded upon, and I guess a bit of context for people. We are more or less fresh off of reviewing seasons 1 and 2 of Scooby-Doo Where Are You, and we're not mad purists about things. So to that end, that leads me into mine, because honestly, my categories going into this is based on 3 things.
I forgot to ask what your elaborate criteria was this time.
It's not elaborate. So 1, it's the quality and spookiness of the monster.
Secondly, the plot for
2,
Daphne.
the storyline. And 3 is just enjoyment factor, how much I enjoyed it. At no point is, you know, the significance of the episode going to be factored in. So maybe don't not expect it, but don't assume that What a Night for a Night is going to be on my list. So my number 5th choice is The Foul Play in Funland. So that is the episode featuring Charlie the Haunted robot. And I did like this because it's an eerie one. And I'm not against machinery by any means. I'm not one of those people that are like, the robots are going to take over. But just the haunting, unfeeling look that Charlie the robot projects, while at the same time that beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop is going on in the background. Especially with the spooky nature of the abandoned carnival. It's like, to me, that's the perfect blend between iconic horror and wacky, zany Scooby-Doo. I think it's the perfect marriage between both genres. It's just, I'm not crazy about that aspect. Like, the original show used to scare me as a kid, so as much as I do enjoy it, in terms of my own nostalgia, it kind of took a bit away from it. But yeah, that's number 5, Foul Play in Funland.
Okay, so we're progressing on to number 4 here, and for me, number 4 is Go Away Ghost Ship. I really like this episode. I think it's a great villain, and I think kind of testament to who that is just, we see them repeated, don't we? There's an episode of the movies with the Harlem Globetrotters in it, you know, where they bring kind of Redbeard back. It's the same pattern and styling and everything. And also Pirates Ahoy as well, I feel like a huge callback to this episode. So I think just the fact that, you know, it's repeated again is just testament to how good it is. So yeah, for me, definitely worthy of the top 5, and that's my 4th spot.
Okay. Honestly, I don't see us agreeing at any of these this time.
No.
Because I have Bedlam in the Big Top in my 4th spot. Because honestly, I absolutely love the Ghost Clown. Being a Stephen King person, like, I always have a soft spot for a Pennywise-like creature, especially when it doesn't seem derivative of it. And I'm pretty sure... Ooh, now I feel like swine, because I'm unsure what came first. The Pennywise or the Ghost Clown. I could find out, but on it, I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to risk ruining a 1st edition. I know it's not... Do you know what? No. I reckon Pennywise was about in the 80s. You know what? I'm going to stop ranting, because I have no clue. It doesn't matter which one came first. My point is, I absolutely love that kind of creepy clown aesthetic, and it is an important Daphne episode for me, I won't lie.
And there we go. JayBee the simp, everybody. Okay, so I guess moving on to third place, and for me, this is one that I don't think JayBee gave enough credit to, and that's Foul Play in Funland. This is so fun. Like, it's an abandoned carnival at night. Can you not imagine how much fun you'd have there? Like, the rides.
When you're done, can I defend myself? Because I did leave something out, so maybe I can shed some light onto it.
And not only that, but it's not Like, my issue with Where Are You is there's lots of humanoid villains. Like, the Minor 49er in Where Are You is awful. Like, I am grateful to Monsters Unleashed for redeeming that character, because, and Ernest Health as well, for how well that was done. But, like, in this, it's abominable. Like, it's a guy with a beard. That's not a villain. Like, there's a stage where even Shaggy and Scooby aren't scared when they see them, because it just isn't a villain. So to that end, to do something like a robot or something like that, it was just so outside of the box, so refreshing in this series. Like JayBee said, you can tell kind of not quite purist here, I guess, based on what we've just said there, but like, yeah, it was just such a refreshing change, and I think it had just been a fun place to be.
Can I defend myself?
Oh, please do.
So I disagree with absolutely nothing that you've said. I am fully on board with your philosophy and your thoughts. One of the main things for me, though, is I did say that one of my main categories was the villain, and for all I did praise Charlie the robot a good deal. I think the motivation behind the woman, I don't know what she's called, was weak, and it was resolved too quickly and without much consequence, so it was ultimately just nothing. I
don't think it's weak, you know? Like, it was a lady...
Robots aren't good for kids.
It's a lady of a certain age fearing technology, okay?
I can't say that.
I can.
Yeah, you can, I can't.
Think about if... my gran, you've met her, she's lovely, was exposed to the level of technology that exists now, where there's tablet, like iPads with games that children can interact with, that has cameras and stuff. Like, she'd be seeing all the negative risks attached to this, some of which have come out in the news. Like, technology isn't always the best thing, and there's been some issues there.
Yeah,
I completely can see where she's coming from. I think this is a motive beyond its time. Like, no one knew how relevant that motive was gonna be, say 60 years later, when, you know, there's systems watching children that can be like hacked into and stuff that we've seen come out in the news.
I do just wish it made more sense. Like, it wasn't doing social commentary ahead of its time necessarily, because obviously there's dangers. Like, if the robot gets broken down, a child might not be protected. But yeah, I think you're right. If it was set in the 80s or 90s, especially today, I think it's one of the few episodes that would have worked better. Because could you imagine the implications of, like, cameras in a robot's eyes looking after children? So easily hackable, so easy to abuse and go wrong. I think it's a motive way ahead of its time, but because of the time that it was in, that's where I thought it was a bit meh. Robot's bad, I guess, and that's the motive. Instead of her actually saying to her husband, which again I appreciate, the 60s, maybe it was easier to not try and have a conversation with him and just hack the robot, but you know, that's just me personally. I was just trying to, because I do love the episode. It's in my top 5. I just didn't want you to think that I was disregarding it without my own thought process.
No. As a strong woman of the 21st century, I wouldn't be consulting my husband.
Well, no. I think it's just better to communicate than to hijack them.
No, I'm kidding, JayBee. It's good. I will consult you on all these things.
No. Well,
before I hijack a robot, I promise.
Well, no, because I wanted a Roomba. Maybe you could consult me when I get our Roomba.
Okay, you're number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is the Spooky Space Kook. Ooh, you don't look happy, but the thing with the Space Kook is how iconic of a villain that is. And here's the thing, okay? Here's me personally. I almost have more nostalgia, because like I say, I didn't watch the original series much as a kid because I was scared of it. I almost have more nostalgia for us opening the Spooky Space Kook sodas.
I've got some questions. Like you said, you're nostalgic for the Space Kook sodas.
And the episode said...
Wait, and you're nostalgic for the laugh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
What happens in the episode?
What do you mean? The Mystery Inc. gang go to the abandoned airfield where they think that they can see a UFO. So it isn't just like, here's a creepy monster. It's an alien, like a Doctor Who, Alien Invaders alien. There's multiple versions of the Space Kook in the air hangar. There's an actual flying saucer roaming around. I think it's great. I'm
almost sure in our Smash or Pass we both concluded it was goofy and repetitive.
Oh, well, look, this is my favourite episode of Where Are You? Honestly, I'm not really gonna revisit Where Are You that much. This is just the top 5 episodes.
Like, I remember watching the Space Kook episode for Smash or Pass and hating it. Like, I was like, this is the Space Kooks episode? Oh my gosh, they're just so iconic that I just thought it would be better.
No, I think it's fun.
Like, I was really disappointed rewatching that episode. I'm shocked that that's in your top 3.
Boo.
And I'm gonna get so much hate for that.
No, but the Space Kook, the monster alone is 5 out of 5. Hey?
Okay, so we are heading into our top 2, and honestly, I can assure you these are the 2 most prominent episodes in my childhood. I can point out favourite moments from these episodes that I remember so prominently. So my second place spot goes to Nowhere to Hide. Now, isn't this the episode where, you know, where there's the suction cups in the fruit bowl that Shaggy finds and he, like, sets this entire mystery open?
It's like a maid that's meant to be like...
That, for me, was one of the most prominent memories of a Where Are You episode. You know, Shaggy just kind of been at the centre of it and been the one that finds the clue that sets it all apart. But not only that, the fact that he is finding a clue means it's one where there was a really logical explanation instead of just some random unmasking at the end. Like, there's a process to the villain that has to be uncovered and things like that. And honestly, hugely nostalgic episode. I loved it.
Yeah. I like that. So, I think you're going to be surprised at my number 2. I think you're going to have believed for this to be...
I'm putting my phone down, ready to argue already.
You're going to have believed that this was my number 1, I think. But my second choice is... Jeepers, It's the Creeper.
Yeah.
What? Nothing to say? Now, here's the thing. Contrary to what people think in terms of this one, this isn't blinded by, oh my gosh, the creeper who returns in the Cyber Chase or whatever. I think that the creeper is actually the weakest part of that episode. I just think it's so much fun. It gives us some world building. It gives us the school dance. It gives us an enclosed, you know, kind of destination in the form of the barn. So we feel isolated, but at the same time, we do know that there's a wider world out there, which is where everyone else has fled to. It's just the gang's constrained here to solve the mystery. Not only that, but I think it possibly has even my second favourite or favourite chase song in it. So, yeah.
I'm shocked. Like, if I was doing a personal top 10, I don't even think that would have made it into that. Okay, well... with that, we're heading into our first place spot now. Before JayBee has a chance to interrupt me, there is many episodes that could have made it into this top 10 list. I guess I don't really have any honourable mentions with this one, but I know JayBee is going to fill in the blanks with his when we get over to him. So with that, I'm just going to head straight to my first place spot. And JayBee, I honestly think you've been a disgrace in this episode.
What?
I can't believe where you put this episode on your list, because for me, first place has to be Bedlam in the Big Top.
But it's on the list.
Yeah, but it's not high enough on the list. I absolutely love this episode. I think it's amazing.
No, because if this was my first one, you'd go, oh, because of the Daphne thing, and oh, no.
Okay, so Where Are You is like, and it's a time where, like, because of animation being so new and all that kind of thing, like, they didn't switch between outfits very much here. So, like you say, Daphne did get that different outfit. And not only that, but also, I like kind of music and poetry and that kind of stuff. And so, you know, when, like, every time the Ghost Clown takes over one of the gang, there's like a little poem that goes along with it. I used to like kind of just like the wordplay and stuff. I don't know, I used to really enjoy watching it.
Don't belittle me though, right? Because I did love the episode, and I love Daphne in the episode, and I like the little rhymes.
And the circus is just so fun. It's such a fun setting.
It wasn't W.B. Yeats by any stretch of the imagination, but it was fun.
It's where they had the most fun with the animation, doing the circus tricks and stuff as well. I loved the episode. So, come on, JayBee, tell me, for you, what is better than Bedlam in the Big Top?
I don't think you're going to be too upset, especially based on your list. But before we get there, honourable mentions. And this is kind of basic, but there are reasons for 2 of them. So, What a Night for a Night. I can't not appreciate the very start, and it doesn't harm the fact that it isn't like awful. It's a good episode. It gives us a great villain, although, you know, in hindsight, a bit of a boring villain, but has become iconic, and you can see why they became iconic. So there we have What a Night for a Night. And this seems cliche because it's literally episode 2, but a clue for Scooby-Doo. And the reason why that goes on there is it actually traumatized me as a kid. So it stuck out in my mind, that sound effect, the kind of... And I just have such a distinct memory of that episode making me consciously go, right, if I start a Scooby midway through, I can't watch it. If I catch it at the start, I have to pay attention to what intro plays to judge whether I'm going to continue watching it or not. So, honestly, it's just an important episode for me. So yeah, honourable mentions, What a Night for a Night, and a clue for Scooby-Doo. But back to our main programme. My first choice is Nowhere to Hide.
Respect it.
Yeah, so...
Why?
I, honestly... Here's the thing with this episode. I instantly, if I heard that they would just the name of the title at the end of the episode, I'd be like, nah, I don't want to watch it. It's going to be like a parody. But it actually gives a new spin on things. It gives us lore, almost to the point where a modern show would try and take the concept of a classic character. Now we've got the descendants dealing with it. So it's not, oh, it's Mr. Hyde, I wonder what's going to happen. We're all idiots because we're just going to act like no one knows what it means. But it's like, no, you mean like the Mr. Hyde? Like, it makes sense within the canon of the story, and it expands on it. So there is that hint of doubt, like, obviously we know that Jekyll and Hyde is a work of fiction, but with what's going on at the moment, there's a little hint, there's a little possibility that it could be happening, and they execute it incredibly well. And for all it doesn't get too dark, you know, you're not going to have Hyde threatening their lives, but you've got enough where he can go, I'll turn you into a frog, and he's like tied down in a hospital bed. And for all it isn't like horror malicious, there is that threat level there.
There is, but there's also just, and I mean, I said this when I put it on my list, but like, there's also just so much more logic and explanation as opposed to here's a random unmasking and we don't care how he did it and that the science doesn't balance. And I don't know, I really like it. And
it has either my favourite or second favourite chase song. So
do you care to sing it for us?
What? It's like like, I don't know actually. It's, oh gosh.
Wow, he doesn't know his second favourite chase song.
It's called Recipe for My Love, but I can't. No, oh my gosh.
So
about a recipe for my love. One and a whole lot of loving is my. I don't know.
Okay.
I did know it. I think I'm just frazzled today. Secret. I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. It's a great song. Okay, let's wrap this episode up. We hope you've enjoyed. Stick around for more of these top 10. Comment below what your favourite episode would be from Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And we'll see you next time. So like, comment and subscribe.
JayBee and Milly.